Hello, beautiful people, and the pretty ones too. Hey, thanks for joining me. I'm not going to waste a lot of time waiting for people to join in. So if you missed the first part of this, then please just watch the replay. So I'm of course world-renowned hypnotist Jim Kellner. I've been fasting and doing keto for quite a long time. Fasting for about 1.5 years. I've been doing keto for on and off for about 3 years or something, and so I'm here. I get so many questions from you folks. My inbox, emails, people asking me different questions about keto and about fasting, and so I thought I'd do a live stream. I'm gonna do a few of these. So if you have any questions, please feel free to type those right now if you're listening live. And that's on Facebook on February, what is it, the 6th at noon Pacific. Hey, we got a lot of people in here. Thanks a lot. Hey, will you do me a favor and help other people by giving this a like right now, or a wow, or a love, or whatever. You can even hate me, whatever, angry. So hey, thanks for joining me. So put your questions down there. I see that's not a question, but thank you, Heather Hope. All right, so let's get right into this. Number one, I'm not a doctor. I've never even played a doctor on TV, so keep that in mind. I'm only offering you some suggestions. Do you want me over here now, or like? Okay, I don't know what that means, Mark. So I'm only telling you about my experiences. That's it. Okay. So what I'm going to cover today is I'm going to cover a few different types of fasting and keto. And I'm also, thanks for the share, Sarah. I appreciate that. I'm also going to be talking about, the main question I get from people is, what do I eat in keto? And then, don't I need carbs for energy? So, and before I do that, so I've actually put together a program because it's been a little bit difficult. I know, here's a funny thing. So what I've noticed is sometimes people, they have no problem doing fasting the first time, and they just kind of slip into it, and then they have a little bit of trouble. So what I've done, and also it's not just about not eating. You know what I mean? It can be really challenging for some people. So I've actually put together a program to support you in what I call the keto to fasting transition. Now, you don't have to do keto to fast. You just don't. I mean, I've done it before. I've just, I maybe had more carbs than I normally would, and then I've jumped right into a fast. It's more challenging though. I'll tell you, it really is. It's way more challenging. Once you get into keto and you start burning your own body fat, then yes, okay. Somebody says that they're hungry every couple hours. Once you start burning your own body fat, which is what you do when you're in keto, when you're in ketosis, not to be confused with ketoacidosis, please. Look them up. They're totally different things. Ketoacidosis can kill you. Ketosis is a good thing. That's when you're burning you're burning ketones, which is fat. So we're going to talk about that, Robin. Thanks for that question. Pineapple pizza is not on the list. So yeah, I put together this program. I would love for you to join me. I'm doing a private group. I put together a whole program. There's 4 different hypnosis recordings. I'm going to do a live call each week in that group, starting up next Friday, the 14th, Fasting Friday. Oh, it's the 14th. Can't start on the 14th because a lot of you want to go out to dinner and eat your chocolate. Okay, we'll start it on the 15th. And actually, no, never mind. We're going to start on Friday because you don't have to fast. So here's the way it's going to work. Number one, I just want to address Robin's question really quick. When you're in ketosis, when you're burning your own body fat, you don't get hungry. You really don't. So a lot of you out there that are sugar burners, what's happening is you're doing this all the time. You've got this up and down roller coaster of blood sugar, and every time that your blood sugar gets low, you actually get hungry. Now, the same thing happens for diabetics even when their blood sugar is high, which is totally crazy. They get that empty feeling where it feels like they just can't eat enough, and that's just because their wait, Sorry, I was looking at a question. I got off track. Oh, it's because their blood sugar, the body, their body can't use that blood sugar that's floating around, that glucose. And what do you know? Next thing you know, their body's going, hey, we're not getting enough food. And even though you have just eaten. So I got a little bit off track there. I'm not going to look at questions right now. I'm going to come back to that because it gets me off track. Sorry, everybody. So we got 12 people watching. Hey, if you could share this, like it, love it, even give me an angry face. I don't care. I'd love it. I appreciate it so much. All right. So what we're going to do now is so the other part. So yes, so the deets. So if you'd like to be part of that program, it's going to be $97, but if you sign up before Monday, it's going to be $57. That's going to get you 4 different hypnosis recordings. I'm going to do some live hypnosis in the private group that I've set up. I'm also going to do some live calls, a live call and a supportive hypnosis every week. And you'll also have my love. So in those live calls, I'll be answering your questions and giving you support. And it'll be a nice supportive environment. No BS, no jerks or anything. It's all going to be people just supporting you on this. So now I'm getting a lot of comments over there. So a lot of fun stuff. All right, so yeah, let me look through your questions really quick. Oh, so comment below or shoot me a message if you want to be a part of that group. There will be a link in the comments later, but I don't have it there yet. Okay, so we're looking through here some of these questions. So as I said, if you're hungry every couple hours, it's the foods you're eating most likely, or you could have some kind of illness. Remember, I'm not a doctor. So it's probably the food you're eating. Try this. What I've always, and remember, not a doctor, not a nutritionist. This is what I've done. When I've worked with clients in the past, they start off their morning with something super healthy. They think like oatmeal and fruit, but really what happens there is that's just being converted to sugar super fast. Now, oatmeal, a lot of great qualities. It's been shown to lower cholesterol. It's got fiber. So there's some of these foods are good if you process them correctly. Anybody who has any kind of high blood sugar or low blood sugar issues can do super good on keto and fasting. So that's what I'd like you to look at. So right now, what I would say is try upping your protein and your fats right now. If you're having trouble, if you're doing that, if you feel hungry every couple hours, I think you're going to notice a difference. I really do. Maybe not. Maybe you got something else going on. Like I said, I'm also going to include that in the recordings. I'm going to give you some support for cravings and getting past that. I've been a hypnotherapist for years and years. I've worked with a lot of people on this, and then I have my own experience and how it's worked for me. So yeah, that's one of the things that you're gonna watch out for is try and eat some maybe some eggs or something for breakfast, or some fatty foods or something. Let's see. Wow, that's a great job. Heather Hope says that she's lost over 100 pounds a couple times being in ketosis. And yes, so if you're vegetarian, so I just got a great question from, so I don't know how to say your name, buddy. Probably Jochen or something like that. Jochen, he's from Belgium, I believe. Okay, so for vegetarians, it's going to be a little bit more challenging. I'm going to be honest with you. So here's the thing. Most all vegetation has some carbohydrates. So that's something that you kind of have to work with. There's some vegetation, and when I'm talking about vegetation, of course, I'm talking about fruits and vegetables. So you just have to watch them. I mean, some are low carb, some are higher in carbs. We probably know this, right? You'd always hear about eat your leafy greens. Okay, so those are low carb. If you want to eat something like a potato or some corn or something, those are going to be high carb. Now, here's the thing too. This is something that I want to address real quick. Is sometimes people go, well, is low carb, is that really healthy? Well, here's the thing. I just heard something recently, and it really made me think. We call like the ketogenic diet, things like that, we call them low carb, but that's only based on what most people are eating. Most people are eating around 300 carbs a day. So, that's maybe, what if they're on a high carb diet? What if we thought about that and maybe, like a ketogenic diet is maybe just a normal carb diet for humans? I don't know. That was just a thought. So if you're a vegetarian, some of the things you can look at. Nuts in a limited amount. You really got to watch this stuff, folks. When you're eating nuts, it's so easy to overeat. In fact, last night I was eating some cashews. Next thing I know, the whole damn thing is gone because it happens because it's just so, it goes so quickly. So you do want to be careful, and they do a lot of health benefits. A lot of these foods that are higher in carbohydrates have a lot of health benefits. They're just maybe not best if you want to get into ketosis and if you have some blood sugar issues. So what I say about nuts is just limit yourself. And right now, if you're a big fan of eating nuts, cashews, walnuts, whatever, what I suggest is go get yourself a measuring cup next time and measure out a 1/4 cup, which is a serving of nuts. You're going to find out that's not very many nuts. So it's very easy to overeat them. You're looking at probably anywhere from 6 to 9 carbs per serving. So, even if you had 2 or 3, probably not terrible, but you do want to watch it. When we're trying to get into ketosis, we want to get down to, I usually start off trying to eat about 100 carbs a day, and then I slowly go back down. I get down to about 50, and then I get into the 15 to 20. And that seems to work for me. I try not to be too drastic about these things. Remember, you don't have to be perfect yet. Let's see. So Deb, please shoot me a message or comment below. I'm actually, if you let me know that, I will. There's supposed to be some sort of a little poll I did here, but I don't see what happened to it. So anyway, bummer. Maybe it showed up on your screen. Herb McCandless. Oh, my friend, he's a fellow hypnotist. He's a ketotarian also. One of the things that he does, he likes to go on a bacon day. So he'll just eat bacon all day. And that's if you're trying to get into ketosis, that is a really great strategy because the fat to protein ratio is pretty good. I'm sorry. I didn't finish answering the question about vegetarians. So for vegetarians, it's going to be a little bit more challenging, but yes, you can do it. In fact, in the group, I'll discuss it more because I do have some once we start the group, I do have some other resources available. I don't have time to look that up right now, but there are various meal plans for that. So Herb, he's lost a ton of weight with ketosis and fasting, I believe, as well. Let's see how you can't focus because of the diet. And someone talking about their sexual orientation, good for them. Let's see. Damn, you're pretty. Of course, that's true. Bacon for all 3 meals a day. Sarah says bacon all 3. That's fine if that's what it takes for you to get into ketosis. I'll tell you, when I'm working to get into ketosis, I've mentioned this before, I eat way more fat than I might normally do. Because you really want to be full, you want to be satiated all the time, because it's when you start to get a little bit hungry that those sugar cravings can come in. Now, if you're one of those people that are sugaraholics, which I used to be, I got about 32 sweet tooths. So this has been a big issue for me. Once you're in ketosis, guys, there's no more cravings, very rarely. And the cravings that you do get, they're going to be addressed in the hypnosis that I put together for you. So you're going to be able to fight those cravings a lot easier than ever before. I do want to just, if you're joining me late, world-renowned hypnotist Jim Kellner talking about ketosis and fasting, from ketosis to fasting. And I am a hypnotist, but I am not a doctor. Okay, so people with heart disease. Now, okay, that's a great question, Deb. Thank you for asking that. Now, I'll tell you, some of the information is still a little bit hazy on this, but the latest that I've read about this is if you have not had an event yet, so meaning if you have not had a stroke or a heart attack yet, then you should be fine. That's from what I understand. Again, I'm not a doctor. However, if you've had an event, it may not be the best idea. Now, that's something you'd want to talk to your doctor about, as with all of these things. Talk to your doctor and find out what their thought is. I'll tell you, so I've I think that's kind of a safety first kind of an issue, really, because I got to tell you, when you're, it's that combination of fats and carbs that seem like they cause that stickiness, that buildup of plaque. So, it might be actually a good thing, but from what I said, I can't really say for sure. So check on that. It'd be interesting to know. Again, too, here's the thing, and this is something to think about too. Once you're in ketosis, actually, let me phrase this as another question, because sometimes people ask me, they'll say, I just can't get enough fat in, because if you want to get into ketosis, you need to be eating about, probably 70% or more of your calories coming from fat. However, once you're in ketosis, a lot of times people are like, I can't eat that much fat, because here's another thing. They'll check it on their fitness apps. And I'll tell you right now, when you're first starting out, I absolutely recommend that you use a fitness app, that you use everybody comment over there if you have a favorite tracking app. I don't like to do this forever because it's cumbersome, it's a pain. But when you're first starting out, you're going to be really surprised by how many carbs are in different foods. If I remember reading one source one time that said, to really get into ketosis, you want to aim to eat 0 carbs, and you'll still eat probably 15 to 20 because they're everywhere. They're hidden everywhere. So check out. So some of the ones that please comment over there, so people can take a look and they can try out the different apps. I know MyFitnessPal is really popular. I'll tell you, I use personally. I shouldn't even tell you because I'm not getting the affiliate link for this. Oh, well. My Net Diary. I'll tell you, the great thing about My Net Diary is if you have diabetes, you can also track your blood sugar in there. So that's a great way to do it. It's a little bit more, though. I mean, you'd have to, there's like a freemium version. You can do the free version and then the other one. Let's see. I think, did that answer the question? Yeah, if I didn't, ask it again. Can't remember what I was talking about. I've got so many things going on. I'm trying to pay attention to all your stuff here as well. How do you hypnotize a person with ADHD? So this is a interesting question. I've gotten this a lot because people tend to think when they have ADHD that they're kind of all over the place and they won't be able to focus, which can be true. When I've worked with, here's the thing. I've even worked with some folks that have gone to have hypnosis before, and they had a really unpleasant experience because it wasn't tailored to them. I was just talking to somebody about this on the phone. Somebody called me up about a pretty serious issue, and I told them, please, and they're in Arizona. And so Arizona is kind of like the wild, wild west when it comes to a lot of things, and hypnosis is one. There's a lot of jurisdictions out there that have zero requirements. Even I'm broadcasting this from Seattle, Washington. It's snow, yuck. Washington does have a certification program, but a lot of other states, they don't. So I mean, at least you maybe check out their credentials, see what kind of reviews they've got, that kind of a thing. Because here's the thing. This is what I've ran into before. A lot of hypnotists, sorry guys, but a lot of hypnotists out there, they tend to stick to one induction. Now, the induction is the process of where we kind of guide you into hypnosis. A lot of them are doing progressive relaxation. So if you've listened to one on YouTube, one on YouTube or something like that, that's a great question. Let me circle back to that. If you listen to the thing on YouTube or a lot of the pre-recorded stuff out there, you're going to find this and let me give you a demonstration. Now you can feel the relaxation traveling from the top of your head all the way down to the bottoms of your feet. And it's that sort of a thing. And they're trying to guide you into this relaxing place, kind of almost boring you. But this is what happens with a lot of people that are really analytical and or have ADHD. They're going, what's going on? Am I hypnotized? What? I can't. What is this? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? What does that feel? Why are they talking? You're driving me crazy. We get onto the content. Will you get onto the important stuff? Stop doing this. Relax. I'm already relaxed. This is one of the funny things that I remember. I had a client years ago that was like, "Can you make my hypnosis like 5 minutes? I don't want all that other stuff in front of it." Well, no. There's a reason why we do that. But here's the thing. So that kind of progressive relaxation. Who asked that again? Allison. So that progressive relaxation, Allison, that works for a lot of people. But when the hypnotherapist talks with you, they should be able to figure out what what type of person you are, and they're going to tailor that induction. So what I do, for pre-recorded, where I don't know who's going to be listening, I do both. So I put some progressive relaxation in there, but then I also do some stuff for the people with ADHD. And if you're a hypnotist, if you want to know more about that, shoot me a message. I'll tell you the technique that I use for that. But basically, I give them something else to do, because people with ADHD and overly analytical people oftentimes drives them crazy to be told to relax, because they're already relaxed. Thank you. Great question, Allison. Appreciate that. That's a great point, Matt. If you're hungry every couple hours, you may not be getting enough water, which is interesting, because the receptors for hunger and for thirst, they're actually different. So there really shouldn't be any kind of a crossover there, but I do find that, so that's another thing I would do is I would up the water, and I try to get in some more protein and or fats. If you're worried about fats, they've been so maligned over the years that I know a lot of people are afraid of fats. And that actually reminds me, I'm sorry, back to Deb's question. I'm all over the place. Sorry, I should write these down when I'm talking. There's a lot of pressure when everybody's watching, and all these questions, and I'm trying to answer them. And I don't know. So this is specifically for Deb or anyone, if you have, because she asked a question about if you've already had, if you have heart disease, if you've had an event, especially if you have a heart attack or a stroke, talk to your doctor about this, because here's the thing. Once you're in ketosis, you may not need as much fat, okay? So people will oftentimes tell me, I just can't get enough fat in. That's okay. Don't push yourself, cut back on your protein if you have to, kind of monitor your calories, make sure you're getting, 70 to 80%, or that you're only getting about 30% of your 10 to 30% from carbs and protein. But once you're in ketosis, you're going to find that you don't need to eat as much fat, because guess what fat you're eating? The fat around your midsection and on your butt, okay? That's what's going on. So at a certain point, you're kind of feeding off your own fat. Sounds kind of gross, but it's delicious. But that's also what helps you get into fasting, because, I hadn't even intended to fast today, but I've already jumped into ketosis, and I'm just not hungry. Now, I may eat something a little bit later today, but I had some heavy whipping cream in my coffee, and that's it, and not even hungry. It's the craziest thing, people. And believe me, I know, because I used to be one of those people that was hungry every couple hours, and eating to the point where, right after eating, I'd be going, I'm still hungry. What's going on? How could I possibly be hungry? It's just the way my body was processing the food. I hear this diet is supposed to be custom for each individual person. Is that true? You'd have to elaborate on that. I think that one of the things that I don't know that that's true, but yeah, I guess. Here's the thing. Everyone has to make their own decisions about based on what foods they're going to eat. Let me give you a great example. Now, if you want some ideas about what to eat, I will be discussing those in the group, but ahead of time, if you want to head over to dietdoctor.com, you can follow my friend Keto Carol. She's got a lot of suggestions. On Instagram, she actually takes photographs of her food. You can see what she's talking about. So if that's what you're talking about, I would say, yeah, there is some customization there, because the example I like to use is I'm kind of at a disadvantage because I don't like salad dressing, not a single one. I don't like blue cheese, ranch, any of that. And I know a lot of keto peeps like to douse their food in dressing, because that ups their fat content. What I've started doing is I get just straight olive oil, and I'll pour it on there on my salad. Or if I'm feeling really sassy, if I've got some warmed up bacon grease, I will actually put that on my salad. Boom. So, we will address some of the more individual tastes and individual needs in the Facebook group. I would love it if Laura could expand on that. I don't know if she's still with us, but if she could expand on that, I'd love to know more about that. And I can work with people individually as well. I do that. You can go to my website, Jim Kellner, hypnotist.com/book online. You can book a session. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Okay, Allison, thank you. Great Fisher says, yeah, don't tell a diabetic to go on a no sugar diet. Well, it depends. There's a couple different kinds of diabetes. Type 1, of course, is the kind typically kids get when they're born. Remember, not a doctor, or they get when they're really young. They have it's congenital, or they get it when they're really young. And then there's type 2 diabetes, adult onset diabetes, although we're seeing it, we can't really call it adult onset anymore because we're getting kids like 10, 12 years old coming up with it. So, you know what, the whole diabetes thing and ketosis and sugar, I'll tell you, this is a great example. And I just read this a while back. There are absolutely no essential carbohydrates. There are essential fatty acids, and there are essential amino acids, which are proteins. There are no essential carbohydrates. Most of us do not need carbohydrates, sugar, to survive. Because guess what? Your body can make it. So some people are afraid, oh no, but your brain needs glucose. Yes, your body can create it. I need carbohydrates for energy. No, absolutely not. Once you're in ketosis, there have been so many elite athletes now that are switching to the ketogenic lifestyle, and finding marathon runners that are in ketosis that are doing this. Bicyclists, runners. I've literally never had more energy than when I'm in ketosis. When I'm either just doing the keto diet or when I'm fasting, I feel like $1,000,000. Again, if you got diabetes, check with your doctor. Especially if you have type 2, I think a lot of people find that being in ketosis is so beneficial because they don't have those blood sugar spikes. Now, will you need to adjust your medication? Absolutely. Again, talk to your doctor. Dr. Jason Fong talks about this kind of stuff. Check him out, Dr. Feng. He's also big in fasting. And so I would check with him. But we have this idea that, and in fact, don't even get me started on the Diabetes Association, because they show us this plate that's got a protein and maybe a little bit of fat. And then they've got, you've got your roll and your vegetable and your fruit. I mean, just don't even get me started. I just think that we need to rethink the way that we treat diabetes. There's a guy on Facebook that I follow. He's also written a book. The Diabetes Warrior is the name of the book. Great book. He posts stuff all the time. He was diagnosed, I can't remember now, probably over 10 years ago. He's mostly carnivore now, mostly eats meat. And from what I understand, he is thriving. I mean, his weight looks good. He shows his blood sugars down like 80s and things like that. So definitely, if you've got diabetes, check out Steve Cooksey's book, or follow him on Facebook, COOKSEY, I think it is. All right. Now, type 1s, it may be, it may be a little bit different. You may have, but I will tell you that, look into it. Look into that. Talk to your doctor about that. Talk to him. Find out. Okay. So keto and IBS, meat and fat increases, IBS symptoms. I tell you, some people now, especially if you're eating a lot of coconut oil, ooh boy, stay at home. Don't leave the house if you're eating a lot of coconut oil, especially at first, because you'll have some intense moments. I don't know about that, Jochen, and I'm hoping that he'll tell me how to pronounce it. I don't know about that, because I've mostly seen the IBS symptoms with my clients that are eating a lot of grains. So, but I mean, everybody reacts differently, I suppose. I wonder if there's something else going on there. I don't know. But here's one thing: if you're fasting, probably going to improve those symptoms, right? Because you're not eating anything. So I'm not sure about that. Sorry, can't help you with that. I drink a lot of water. I just eat very small portions about every 2 to 3 hours. And for a long time, okay, yeah, I don't know why Allison's even here. She's just arguing with everything I say. Okay. I don't know why you're here, Allison, but thanks for don't eat higher fatting foods. If you're trying to get into ketosis, you kind of need to eat those higher fat foods. So whatever. And again, this is the same thing like I was talking about before. Is it really high fat, or is it really what we should be eating? You know, we have this idea that we're supposed to be eating lots of carbs, and that just may not be true, especially if you have blood sugar issues, high or low. So again, I'd like to Robin, to specify, it'd be great if you let us know, because I'd love to know. A lot of times, eating more fat, more protein is going to help you to go longer between meals. Carb Manager. Oh, okay. I've never seen that. That's a great one. Thanks for that recommendation there. Somebody said LOL. Balsamic vinaigrette with olive oil. I haven't checked because I don't eat that dressing, but my guess is that the balsamic with olive oil would be a good choice. I don't think there's many carbs in the vinegar. So yeah. Let's see. I think that's about it for all the questions that I wanted to answer. Please join me in the group. I'd love to have you there. I'm just going to share my experience. I'm going to give you support. You're going to have the thanks, Jokin or Jokin. I don't know. It says not to worry about how I pronounce it. Please join me. I would love for you to join me again. You're going to get 8 weeks of support. We're going to transition. We're going to start off next Friday. I call it Fasting Friday, but you don't have to start fasting. So this program's really set up for you, those of you that have either never done keto or never fasted, or that have done it but had some challenges. Okay, so the very first recording again next Friday, the 14th, I believe it is. We'll be on goals and motivation. Setting your goals, getting your motivation. You're going to listen to that for 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, you're getting a recording on the mindset. This is making that mindset shift. So you go from having, and this is what happens for a lot of people who have food issues, and maybe not everybody, but one of the things going to help you to do is to find other things to do with your time. I remember one time I was talking to a client, and he said to me, he started crying in the office. He started crying, and he said, sorry, I got distracted. He looked at me, he started crying, he said, Jim, I don't know what I'm going to do if I don't eat the foods that I eat right now, because that's my only pleasure. So this hypnosis and that whole 2 week span is going to be about finding more pleasure in your life, okay? More enjoyment. Get to the point where you don't, like I used to do this when I traveled. What did I do? I Googled best buffet near me, okay? What would it be like if instead of things like that, you Googled best walking trail near me, okay? Things like that. Fun activities near me, things like that. So you're going to get a lot more enjoyment out of life. The next 2 weeks, we're going to really focus, because by then you'll be ready to get into ketosis, to work on the ketogenic stuff. You're going to start feeling better. Some of you will have already transitioned into it, but that's where we're going to get really hardcore about getting into ketosis. Again, once you're in ketosis, that fasting part is going to be a lot easier. We're going to do the ketosis for 2 weeks. Then 2 weeks after that, we're going to start the fasting program. Now, you don't have to fast for the 2 weeks. That's not the plan. It's for you to start fasting whenever you want to in that time, and whatever kind you want to do. And I will be talking more about the benefits of different kinds of fasts, because there's water fast, there's fat fast, juice fast, dry fasting. So those will be covered in the group as well. So couple things before I sign out. Nina says she loves to do intermittent fasting, but I love intermittent eating. So I guess it's just a habit, okay? When will a person not follow a suggestion? Allison, here's a funny thing. A lot of times people will say, they'll say, well, I'm not hypnotizable, I'm not suggestible. Well, everyone's suggestible, because if you weren't, you couldn't learn. And that's all we're doing in hypnosis. We're just introducing to your unconscious mind certain concepts that you've decided ahead of time that you'd like to focus on. Now, If you, for whatever reason, decide to go against your best interest and refuse those suggestions, that's your choice. So if a person will not follow a suggestion, I just say, why the heck not? It's for your benefit. It's your benefit. Doesn't matter to me if you follow them or not. Joking wants to sign up. Fantastic. I'll get you the link. Okay, Deb, buy the Italian balsamic vinegar, low sugar, low sodium, compares to the cheap bottle. All right, hey, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And I'm going to post this on YouTube and all the various places. So please check it out. There'll probably be a link in the video. And I'm sorry I don't have that link available for you right now. Drop the ball on that. I've been working so hard to get all the other stuff done, get the recordings done and everything. So, gosh, I'm really looking forward to this. You know what? Also, the great thing about this, I'm going to get support from you too. So it's kind of like a win-win situation. So remember, you're getting all 4 recordings. You're going to get my personal recording. Each week, I'm going to be doing a live hypnosis in the group, the private group that you're going to be in. So it's going to be different from what I post anywhere else. You're also going to get the live stream where I answer questions just like this. And you're also going to be free to support each other. You know, you can, throw a question out there. Hey, who's got the best, who's got the best bacon? Whatever. You're also going to get my undying love and support. All right. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Be well. Be awesome.